First thing we'll do is we'll have an invocation by Shantany. Okay. And then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. So please stand for the invocation.
It's always an honor to pray for those in authority, and I take that very, very seriously. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. But I'd like to pray a blessing. First of all, I'm thankful and I'm mindful that you have so many decisions that you need to make, and you're governing our city. And so I'd like to be reminded to bless you, because I think that's more powerful. And one of my favorite blessings is out of Numbers 6:24. So I'm going to say, may the Lord bless you, and may he keep you, and may he allow his countenance to shine upon you, and may he protect you. I've been very mindful of the need of protection, especially for those who are governing, as I watched the news recently and saw 2 policemen that were killed tragically. And I would like to dispatch, I believe, in angels, and that they will govern you. And I thank you for allowing me to be here. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honoring the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you again for that blessing. Citizens' comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Comments about any of the council agenda items are appreciated by the council and may be taken into consideration at this time or during the agenda item. Council is prohibited from acting on or discussing items brought before them at this time. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak? You have the podium. Please state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Michael King, 2610 Zachary Drive. First of all, thank you, Mayor, Council. Mr. Campbell, welcome. I know I emailed you and you emailed me back. We'll visit. And city staff, police chief, thank y'all. First of all, and I just talked with Mr. Lance Stacy, I have the utmost respect for me. Council, heck yes, spend that money on upgrades. Secure this building, please. And I say that heartfully and truthfully, because over the last 3 weeks, as you guys know, I'm very active. I was kind of joking, Andy Nolan, I was actually on the phone with her when I was walking in the door. I don't know why she wasn't helping y'all out. I'll say something to her. But over the last 3 weeks, I've gone to events, and the biggest one I went to was True Texas Project. I showed Mr. Stacy the pictures, which is right up here on the Loop, the new court building. We were going to our annual meeting. 60 to 75 minimum so-called Antifa members showed up, armed to the hilt. One of them dropped a magazine in front of me. I'm a former Marine, I honorably served. I know what a loaded magazine looks like. He dropped the dust cover. He was loaded for work. They tore up the county building, broke windows, graffitied, all kinds of stuff. So please secure this building. I support you guys doing that. Second of all, I was asked to come tonight by Miss Earlene Jackson. You guys know Miss Earlene Jackson. She's a resident of Corinth. And she asked me if I agreed with what she is wanting, and if I would come speak. And I said, absolutely. As we all know, Texas Proposition 2 passed by 84.95% with 1.1 million voters in favor, which increased the homestead exemption from $25,000 to $40,000 on school taxes, which will go in effect in 2023, the way I understand it. We have many tax codes in Chapter 1113 from veterans, law enforcement, solar and wind participants, survivors of first responders, all kinds of stuff. And right now, the city of Corinth is not giving any reduction in the tax code for the elderly, for 65 and older. And so I'm asking, I think I've been told it might be a workshop item coming up soon in November, but all I'm doing is asking City Council to please take a look at that. I think there's a time and place that once you get to that age, I got 5 more years, I'll be there, is for once you can finally own your home. And a lot of these elderly are struggling. Y'all know we're in tough times right now. And I just asking City Council to take a look at that. See if there's, I'm not talking about total exemption. I know I've spoke with Lana and some other people about the budget. I understand money. But if there's any kind of relief we can give, I think our elderly would highly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, at this time I'd entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? Cast your vote. It's unanimous. Okay, item number 10 we're going to pull from the agenda tonight. Item number 11, consider an act on an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Corinth, Texas, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement between the City of Corinth and the Lake City Chamber of Commerce for the payment and use of hotel tax revenue. Mr. Campbell.
Mayor and Council, this item, as the Mayor said, actually authorizes me to enter into an agreement with Lake City's Chamber for an amount not to exceed $5,000 so they can have a little bit of help on the advertising for their bike rally, as I understand it. So.
Okay, are there any questions of council? Mm-mm. Okay, I'd entertain a motion on this item.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Cast your vote. It's unanimous. Oh, yeah. You're going to pull a Steve Holsworth on us?
You're never going to live that down.
Okay. Consider an act and an ordinance amending Chapter 130, Offenses Against City Regulations of Title 13, General Offices of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Corinth, creating a new section, 130.05, entitled Possession of Catalytic Converters, and amending Section 30.01, Definition, prohibiting the possession of used catalytic converters and providing exceptions to this same. Mr. Campbell.
Mayor and Council, thank you. This is an ordinance that's being recommended by Chief Garner, who I think has some items he can show you tonight. But catalytic converter theft is a problem, not just here, but all over, and it's kind of running rampant. And so I think this ordinance actually gives some teeth to our current code so we can address that, and I'll let Chief kind of give you some details on what that'll do.
I'm not planning to play the tuba, so you can it's okay. Mr. Mayor, Council, this is a catalytic converter. You have one under your car. It's where the exhaust comes out of the engine, goes through this. The purpose of it is to take out some of the impurities, some of the poison, basically, before it goes out your exhaust pipe. And it has some precious metals in here to help them do that. It has platinum. It has rhodium. This one is for a Ford, and it's worth about $900. But there are plenty of catalytic converters that go for several $1,000s a piece. So they're popular with criminals, particularly drug addicts that need some money for a methamphetamine or what have you. If you have a reciprocating saw, battery operated, you can slide under somebody's car and take one of these off in about 2 minutes. That's a very, very popular crime right now throughout the United States. It's certainly here in Texas. Since the first of this year, we've had almost 50 catalytic converter thefts. I know that Denton has had about 250, and some of the other municipalities around have had a lot more than that, the bigger cities. So a lot of that's going on. We know that, or we suspect in the future, the automobile manufacturers are going to try to make these things a little harder to take off of a car. I think probably our legislature will be hitting on this again in their new legislative session. But right now, we don't have a whole lot to work with. The state already has passed a statute on the scrap metal dealers that make them supposedly register these things when they're turned in. But what a number of jurisdictions in Texas have done And, for example, the ordinance we're bringing you is patterned on one from Trophy Club, is coming up with an ordinance that is a city violation, a municipal violation, so it's not something somebody's going to prison over, but it allows us, this ordinance basically says, if you can't provide proof and you have one of these catalytic converters that's been unfastened or sawed off, it's a violation. It's a municipal code violation. What it does with us, if we stop somebody out here in the middle of the night and he's got one or two or three of these in the back seat and he doesn't have some kind of proof that these belong to me, that gives us a foot in the door to investigate further. And that probably, in many cases, will give us probable cause to go to a judge and ask for a warrant. He's got these things in his back seat. Let's see what else he's got. Maybe that reciprocating saw. So this is a stopgap measure. It's not going to prevent all catalytic converters thefts all by themselves, but it's going to give us a tool that we can work with when we do have officers out on the street that are contacting some of these situations. We're not generally going to catch it in progress. Maybe 2 minutes is what it takes for a bad guy to get one of these off if he knows what he's doing. We're more likely to catch it on somebody that we stop for a traffic violation or what have you. So that's why we're asking for this. It makes exceptions. Like I say, if you can prove this belongs to you, or if you're a scrap metal dealer and you have a right to have this. But if you don't, as they used to say on I Love Lucy, you got some splaining to do to the police officer. So that's what the purpose of this is. It's the maximum $500 fine per offense. It's not something we would put somebody in jail on normally, but it gives us a chance to take them into custody and question them about, why do you have this in your back seat? So that's a tool we'd like to have. A number of other municipalities already have that, and we're asking council to please grant this ordinance to us that gives us something else to work with on the catalytic converter thefts. It's a big problem right now.
Are there any questions from council on this item?
I have a comment and a question, sir. So, as it turns out, a good friend of mine in the church parking lot, when he was in church, had his catalytic converter stolen. Yes. Came out, somebody thought he had hot-rodded his truck, and he was befuddled, and come to find out it had been stolen. And it was from a Ford, so I don't know if maybe... Anyway, that's not my question. My question is, on my catalytic converter, I put a Post-it note that says no. So I should be safe. But is there anything that we could be doing to help?
You know, a couple of the things that the industry is talked about is painting them pink, inscribing your license, your driver's license number or your license plate number on there. But very frankly, how many people are going to get under their cars and do this, to be very honest with you? But that's a couple of things. Paint it a unique color, engrave a number on there that's unique to you. That's maybe helpful, but the guy who's going under there, unless he sees a color, he's not going to know that you've done those things anyway, unless Ms. Pickens has painted it bright pink. That's the only way he's going to know it's marked already. There you go. So there's not real good, easy preventive measures right now. You can take it to a dealer, and they will put some more straps and devices on there, and you can spend some money getting it secured some more. But you have to spend some money to do that. Toyotas are the cars that are getting hit the very hardest. They're pretty valuable as far as the amount of precious metals they have in there, and they're pretty easy to get off. So I'm told.
Chief, I have a question. The cities that have these ordinances, what has been the outcome? Do they see less? Are they...
They're so new. Nobody that I have read about is giving any results out of this yet.
Okay.
I just haven't seen anything yet. Pretty new.
Are there any other questions, council? Thank you very much, Chief. Appreciate you updating us on this. And I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Cast your vote. It's unanimous. Item number 13, consider an act on the nomination, appointments, resignations, and removal of board, commission, and committee members. Mr. Campbell.
Mayor and Council, we had, as you know, a resignation on our Planning and Zoning Commission, and we made some recommendations to the Council on some potential replacements, and we just need to get those positions filled, as discussed earlier this evening.
Okay. I I'd entertain a motion on this item.
Mayor, I would move to appoint Adam Guck as P&Z first alternate. I would further move that Bradford Harold be appointed to place 6, alternate 2 on the P&Z, and that Richard Weir move into the place Mr. Bradford is vacating. Place number 2 is a board member of the Board of Adjustment and Board of Construction Appeals.
I second.
Are there any further discussion? Cast your vote. It's unanimous. Council comment and future agenda items. The purpose of this section is to allow each council member the opportunity to provide general updates and or comments to fellow council members, the public, and or staff on any issue or future events. Also, in accordance with Section 30.085 of the Code of Ordinances, at this time, any council member may direct that an item be added as a business item to any future agenda. Mr. Burke.
Nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Garber.
Nothing, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Holsworth.
Nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Mrs. Henderson.
Yes, sir. First off, I want to thank you for that beautiful blessing. That was really touched my heart. Thank you for that. And I know we've already welcomed you, but thanks. Welcome to your first meeting here. And I want to thank everyone that participated in our luncheon with the Denton County Commissioner, Bobby Mitchell, and Judge Andy Eads. It was really good and informative, and thanks to everyone that participated in that.
Mrs. Pickens.
Yeah, I just want to thank the staff for another great Pumpkin Palooza. I know that takes a lot of work and a lot of planning. I'm sure you're probably already thinking about next year's. But it was a fantastic event, and y'all's work, y'all hit it out of the ballpark. So thank y'all for doing that for our city and for our citizens.
Mr. Campbell.
Echo the Pumpkin Palooza. My first one obviously was absolutely amazing, so very impressive. Very quickly, we have a fire department open house this weekend, and I'm going to get the time wrong, I'm sure. 10 to 2. I had
9 to 12, I think.
I just wanted to see if y'all knew. 9 to 12 sounds good. And then, Mayor, we also, I think we sent something out on this, and this is a ways off, but the Thanksgiving lunch with the staff and the council on November 16th from 11 to 1. Everybody's looking at me like that's correct. So it's
Okay. Again, I would like to echo some of the same remarks about Pumpkin Palooza. I tell you, every year it just gets better and better, and again, I just thank staff because that festivity could not have been put together without a staff commitment and coordination, and everybody was there, and it all looked like they were having fun. You know, it was a beautiful day. I don't know how you do that every year, Leanne. The weather, we haven't had one rain out in what is it, 6 years? Oh, it was a great event. Again, I encourage everybody to attend that open house at the fire station number 3 on Saturday. I think every time I go to it, it just amazes me the technology that's there, and when I see that helicopter that lifts all these people off, it brings back old memories. But again, and welcome, Mr. Campbell, to the diocese. We appreciate you being here tonight. And with that, we'll go into executive session.